Hello everyone, Supervisor Jim Desmond here with you today talking about homelessness. We've all seen it for many years now, and you'd think by now government would have fixed homelessness with the billions and billions of your dollars that we have spent on this. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And in California, it's actually gotten worse. One of the reasons that it is so bad and why we just are caught in this churn of homelessness is primarily the tools that we've been using, or the tool. The one tool that is mandated by the state and is mandated by the federal government is a tool called Housing First, which sounds good. Housing first, let's get people into housing. That sounds wonderful. However, it doesn't work because Housing First allows people to continue to use drugs and alcohol. And it doesn't require them to get into any sort of mental health treatment or anything else. It's just moving people from one place and putting them in another, and they still have the same difficulties as they're struggling with. We need to get people into programs and get them the help that they need. Housing First just hasn't worked, and we have to be able to use other opportunities. But if we do change from Housing First, then we don't get the money from the state or the federal government to support programs. And there's good programs out there. In North County, Solutions for Change is a program that actually gets people off the streets. Families primarily is what they focus on, and they get them into the help that they need and get them through the program. But they have rules. They have rules of no drug use, no alcohol use, and they have to get mental health, or they have to get detox. There's rules in place, but Housing First plan has no rules. We have to be able to get people into the help that they need. And the Housing First doesn't allow it. Also, there's harm reduction, which is another tool that is mandated by the state and the federal government. Harm reduction, again, a good, nice sounding term, but harm reduction basically supplies needles and other paraphernalia for people to continue to use drugs. We have to be able to get people into the help that they need. I just did a podcast yesterday with a gentleman called Jared Klickstein. He was on the streets from 2011 to about 2015. He was homeless. He was addicted to drugs. He told us that in the drug-induced fog that he was in, he was hooked on heroin at the time, that all he ever did was think about getting the next high and what he would have to do. He would steal or rob and to try to get money for his next fix. He said once he was forced into a program, basically he had to go to jail first, and then he got into a program, he was able to think more clearly and understand that the drug-induced fog that he was in was detrimental to his health. We need programs to get actually people into the help they need, and it may have to become forcibly or involuntarily into these programs. Otherwise, they're going to be just dying on our streets. People have rights, homeless people have rights, but so do the rest of us. We shouldn't have people defecating or living in our streets and our sidewalks and parks. We need to be able to get them the help and the love that they need. And that's by getting them into program, and yes, having rules, and getting rid of this Housing First only scenario or programs that are dictated by the state and federal government. We need to get money to programs that actually have rules and get people into help. I need your help to get away from this Housing First only scenario that we're stuck in right now, that we aren't gaining any progress with. Call your city council members, call your state representatives. Sacramento has passed these laws, and we have a one-party rule up in Sacramento right now. We need to change that. We need to get common sense. We need to set some rules and parameters, just like we would do for our kids, for our own kids if they were helpless and homeless. We need to do that for society and make it better. Thanks for checking in today. Housing First is a tool in the toolbox, but it shouldn't be the only tool.